things a little bit differently than we normally do, but that is because we have two in-studio guests, pardon me. We have Eddie Johnson here. We have Reggie Person here. In person, which is, we don't have in-person guests a lot. We have a lot of people that call in. This is kind of exciting for us. And you guys are involved with The Son of Wolverine and Storm, which is a web series that is based here in Detroit.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I guess just tell us about it. Tell our listeners about what it's all about.
Okay. Well, I basically created a web show that I've been trying to pitch to Marvel Comics. I went to the studios in Michigan just to take some extra acting classes. And that's where I met Reggie. And Reggie introduced me to Rebecca. And next thing you know, they were down to do it. And I just slowly formed the cast members of the show, uploaded it on YouTube, and the cast just kept growing and growing. And now here we are. We're working on episode 8 right now, The Son of Wolverine and Storm. And hopefully maybe Marvel and Netflix will pick it up. I mean, even if they don't, it's okay because we love doing it, And that's being creative. So
yeah, and that's as long as you're having fun doing it, then that's the best thing. How long? I mean, what made you want to do a web series per se? Like over doing something different.
Well, I'm a hip hop artist too, so I got some music getting ready to come out next year. But I was just taking a break from rap, because I got frustrated with it, not being able to get on like good radio stations and get my music out there the way I wanted to. So I said, you know what, let me try this film thing, And ever since then, it's been an amazing journey. And it's really fun.
I hear that's how Spielberg got started. His rap career wasn't really taking off. Decided he would try the film thing.
I can see why.
Yeah, but I just love doing it. I'm gonna let Reggie hop in too. I don't want to just talk the whole time, but it's an amazing experience.
Well, like he said, we met at the studios in Michigan. He told me he had the web series going on, and I introduced him to Rebecca. We went right over there. So right now we have 7 episodes up on YouTube. We got over 16,000 views. Mm-hmm. Each episode is over 1,000 views, but episode 1 took off the fastest. And when I was in New York, I went to Marvel Comics. They was closed, so I slipped a flyer underneath the door.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
I was in Manhattan passing out flyers. I passed off probably about a good 2,000 flyers between Manhattan, New York, and Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
That's some good marketing right there.
Yeah, I did street promotions. I helped boost the views up.
Yeah,
that's
definitely
beautiful. Yeah. And when you do a web series, I mean, I have some friends that do a web series as well. It's really hard to kind of get the word out there because you're working in like an independent capacity.
Yeah.
And I mean, how is it? Other than it sounds like that was like a really successful way to get that out there. Are there any other like channels that you use to kind of get the word out?
Well, I mean, all the cast members, Facebook
Instagram.
Is the major one, Instagram, and then YouTube, of course. Well, all the cast members, each week, we all like set aside at least 30 minutes and try to post links in different pages and sites and stuff like that. But, word of mouth also is good too, the old school conventional way. So
absolutely.
Just telling people, and then people love Marvel comics or just stuff like this, that's funny and creative. And you say, hey man, check this out. And next thing you know, they're like, hey, they're calling someone too. So it just keeps going like dominoes, I guess.
That's a beautiful. Word of mouth is definitely a good way to get it out there.
Gotta start somewhere.
Right.
That's how we started.
Yep, exactly. We've been doing this for over 2 years.
You passed out flyers?
Not flyers.
I don't think we did
not
flyers.
the flyer route, but we did a lot of
buttons. I'm a comic book writer, so at the
Okay.
conventions I have a card for our show. I pass that out. And
yeah, but there was a lot of Facebook and a lot of putting
social
ourselves
media
out
is
there.
huge when you're doing something independent like that, for sure.
Especially when we go to cons to just promote our stuff. So yeah, that's a big, especially cons. It's just a really good way to put your stuff out there.
So y'all been to C2E2 in Chicago?
No. I got denied this year. They were like, nope.
Wow.
And I'm okay with that. I've only been writing professionally for like 3 years, so
okay,
good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff.
It is what it is. I'm like, I'm afraid of people too, so I think that, there's a lot of people at C2E2, right? Have you been?
Yeah. We went. Me and one of the other cast members, Sean Hill, we went a couple years ago, and we met Stan Lee and some representatives from Marvel Comics, and I gave them a flyer of the show. So Marvel, they know that I'm doing this because a couple people have asked me. They're like, well, how come Marvel hasn't shut your show down or this or that and third? No, because they know that I'm doing it. It's just a spinoff of Wolverine and Storm. So they're fully aware of me doing this.
Right.
So you haven't had any negative feedback from there?
Well, no, not from the comic book and professional people,
Okay.
but just regular people. You know, some people they have dropped the N-word, all this stupid N-word, and blah blah blah. But I try to delete and monitor some of those comments up under it so that the conversation under the videos don't turn into something else. I mean, if you don't like the show or whatever, that's cool.
Yeah.
But please don't, drop the racist stuff, And I hate it when that happens, But it's the internet, so
everybody feels
trolling.
like they have the right to sit there and say whatever they want.
If you're not in front of somebody's face, it's easy to say whatever you want because they're not there to punch you in your face.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, it really hasn't been too many negative comments. Most people are just like, okay, we can see that you're trying, but just try to get better, and that's what I did.
Constructive
Criticism.
Oh my God, I need to keep drinking.
Criticism.
Yeah, we need to keep drinking, but But the first 2 episodes were a little rough, but then I bought a new camera. I got the Sony Alpha 6000. So now the quality,
that was
episode 3 all the way.
That's
when you see the upgrade.
I noticed because I watched everything. Obviously, like once we started talking, I was like, "Well, I gotta get on this." And like by the 4th episode, I felt like you could tell that you had learned a lot, and it just grew, and it got a lot stronger. It was really cool, and even with episode 7, the new opening, I really like that. The opening credits, that was really cool. So it's awesome to kind of see
the
progression
of
how
you
started.
Every creative person grows like that.
And,
of course.
And just like Reggie said, he hit the nail right on the head. Everyone has to start somewhere. And
Exactly.
I guess for the keyboard warriors or the people who like to diss and talk shit online, they don't understand that, you have to go through hell to get to heaven. What's the point of going straight to heaven if you don't go through hell to get there? You want to earn it,
Right.
So it's the same thing with hip hop, movies, or even learning martial arts or learning how to swim. You're going to start from the, baby level, rookie level, and then eventually through time, if you're serious, you're going to become a master.
I respect that.
Well, Frederick Douglass made a statement. He said, "No progress without struggle." So
exactly.
Well, and let's be honest. I
very
mean,
true.
95% of people that are leaving YouTube comments are doing so from their mom's basement.
Yeah.
They clearly they know how to struggle. They're not struggling
How
for
many of them
anything.
have actually picked up a video camera and just went ahead and started at this?
Well,
it's the same thing with the type of work that I do, and it's the same type of work that she does. We don't start.
You don't
being a
start out
prodigy
being amazing
right away.
You gotta
You
learn
always,
and
it's
earn
practice.
It,
You might be good at what you do,
Right.
but you're not going to perfect anything, or you're not going to be perfect when you first start. To me, that's
Nobody
hands down.
is.
Nobody is.
Nobody. And if they say they are, they're full of shit.
And I wanted to say thanks again for having us here. It's an honor to be here. And I love this show. It's excellent.
Awesome. I appreciate that. We try.
I'm feeling real
Best,
good.
hey, look, best show ever. You get to.
I'm talking on the radio.
I think we're all feeling a little good right now.
FCC, schmefcc.
That's why podcasting is way better than the radio, and we have the freedoms to say fuck and shit and whatever the hell we want whenever we want. It's a beautiful thing.
And have access to show fuel.
So, for people who haven't seen this show yet, why don't you give us a little bit of a blurb, what kind of is this show about?
A quick synopsis?
Yeah.
Okay. Edward Oral Holly is the son of Wolverine and Storm. The show is based mostly in Detroit, but he does fight heroes all around the world. In the story, I kind of picked it up in a comic book after Wolverine got killed. For people that don't read comic books, Wolverine got killed a few years ago in a comic book. So it kind of picks up around that area. And basically, Edward is upset that his father is dead. He wants to go back in time and save him and bring him back, so he can see how much he's achieved and grown as a hero and as a man. His relationship with Storm, his mother, isn't really that good. He's bumping into the other kids that Wolverine have throughout the series. He's like, wow. Wait a minute, Storm, my mother had a son with Black Panther. Who is this guy? You know what I'm saying? Or, hey, Dakin, the other son Logan had, over here. So as the series goes, he's bumping into other brothers and sisters. Right.
They got around a little bit.
And Evil Asian Venom, well, I basically, Marvel really wasn't doing nothing with Asian Venom, so in the show, I decided to turn him to a bad guy, but it's not Flash Thompson. It's another Marvel Comics popular villain, but you don't know who it is because he has a suit on, but it'll be revealed later on in the story. And this guy right here, Breaker, he is one of the main bad guys, and he is so good, so excellent. And I've been trying to shift more of the bad guy role into him, taking the more so off of Evil Asian Venom and Kingpin, just because he's a character that I invented. And a lot of people online were saying, hey, don't lean so much on the Marvel B or C list characters. Let's see some more development of the ones you invented. So I'm trying to hype the Breaker up a little bit more as the main villain.
Right, and I noticed, like, as the episodes went on, like, you had a lot more screen time. There was more, like, building of your character. And I gotta say, like, I really love your character.
Thank you.
I think you do a really great job. Like, it's a lot of fun to watch. I mean, I kind of always root for the bad guys. So I do. I'm kind of, I'm a horror writer. So, I mean, come on.
Okay.
Like, I write about the bad guys. So, of course, I gotta.
Yeah, bad guys have all the fun.
They really do, right? So, no, but I think that's really cool. And, kind of focusing on your creative side, and the character that you got to create. That's got to be kind of awesome that people want to see more of that,
It is. I mean, and the thing is that, just having fun while you're doing it. I mean, you guys should see some of the bloopers and outtakes. I haven't posted any of them on YouTube yet, but I got a couple.
Oh,
man, they're so funny.
Those are my favorite. Do it.
So that's your Patreon bonus episode access.
There you go. For just $1 a month.
Exactly.
Now, I did want to say, unfortunately, one of the cast members recently passed away. His name was Dion Carbo Hall. He plays Bruce in the show. He was one of the newer heroes. He was on the last 3 or 4 episodes. He was diabetic and he had a seizure and he passed away. He was only 29. His funeral was a couple months ago. I spoke at his funeral. And this new episode 8 is dedicated to him. So God bless you, Dion. We love you, man.
I did see that on your Facebook, and my heart just kind of dropped because he was so funny.
Yeah.
He had really good comedic timing, and it was like every time he was on screen, he owned it.
Yeah.
It was just so cool, and I'm really sorry. That's just so sad. And
it is. I mean, but his family, they love the show. They love, he was acting in other shows too. So some of those cast members were at the funeral and they see me upset and crying, and they're actually, some of them are going to be in episode 8 because they said, you know what, Wolverine, because I actually wanted to quit doing the show because of his death. It hurt me bad.
Right.
He became like a brother to me because we've been doing this show for how many years now? About 3 years?
About good 2 years.
Yeah, 2.5, almost 3 years. So
wow.
I mean, Dion used to come by, watch WrestleMania, get pizza, hang out, play video games. We've been working on this for a few years. So him dying is just like, wow, I just became friends with you a few years ago and you're gone already. Like,
right.
So it's been really tough making episode 8, but we're going to dedicate this episode to him.
That's when I passed out the 2,000 flyers when he felt like quitting. So I went out there and passed them all around.
Yeah,
Got the views up.
I almost gave it up.
Well,
yeah.
it's good to have that support system. It sounds like you guys have each other's backs, and that's important when you're working on a project like this, and if it's something that you really believe in. And I can understand why, that you felt why you felt that way. But it's awesome that you were able to kind of like make you feel better and give you that drive to keep going.
Yeah, he called me when he was in Manhattan. He was like, "Yo, bro, I've been passing out these flyers. Me and my wife were out here, blah blah blah." I'm like, "Yeah, man."
Going up every day.
Yeah, they were
every day.
That's awesome.
They were. So we're still here.
Yep.
I know. I'm excited to see episode 8. Do you know when that's going to be?
I'm thinking
around
sometime. Well, my birthday is February 23rd, so somewhere probably around then or a little bit before then.
Okay, so not too long.
Yeah. I mean, we only got like maybe 4 or 5 more scenes to do, and then I got to edit everything, and then just upload it and put it out, But I'm just trying to make each episode better than the last one. And like I said, for all the new people that don't know about the Son of Wolverine and Storm, if you look at episode 1 all the way to 7, each episode is getting better and better.
It really did. And that, again, it kept my attention because I could see the progression. I could see, being a creator, it's beautiful to see that.
Exactly.
That change and that growth. And
thank you guys so much for
Well, hey, and you can always,
Thank
you can always go back and do the George Lucas, make special editions. Always clean them up the way you always envisioned them to be.
well, everything's trial and error. And, especially when you're like filming something and it's like your first time doing it, you might have an idea of what is the right thing to do, and then you look back and like, oh man, that might not have been the right thing, and you just learn from it. That's how it works.
And just to let you guys know, I got a guy overseas. He's working on the actual first comic book issue. It's gonna be a promotional issue. I'm not gonna sell it. So Marvel, don't try to cut my head off. I'm not gonna sell it. It's a promotional issue, but it's gonna be a little bit more in depth, because when you're creating a comic, you know, and someone can draw it, you know, like a book. The book is always going to be more better than the movie. Because in a book, for example, Edward R. Holland has his claws in a helicopter. Someone's shooting at him, and I'm shooting back at them, and I'm doing this and that. You know, it's difficult to make that right now with not having a budget at all. But in the comic book, I can show that. So the first issue probably will be out maybe sometime in April. And I'm going to just pass them out, send it to Marvel, and give it to fans, you know, give it to people who like the show for free, you know.
That's
just
awesome.
get them pressed up and give it to you guys, you know.
That's really nice.
Because I'm real serious about this, and I love doing this. It's so fun.
I can see it
I mean,
on
it's
your
stressful,
face.
but it is so fun.
So
doing
you
this.
mentioned sponsors. I feel like the obvious question, just because you know I've watched the episodes. So is Bud Light an actual sponsor, or are you just hoping?
Man, I'm hoping. I went to the Bud. Yeah, I went to their page numerous times. Like, hey, you guys should sponsor the son of Wolverine and Storm. Yeah. Because in every episode it's Bud Light, Hennessy, a Little Caesars. You know.
Yeah.
So. But I love Bud Light. I love it. And those hats, they're awesome. That's part of the little trademark thing that the character has. So I always try to wear the funny cowboy hats and stuff to have fun, you know. And if they ever make this show into a video game, as you go through the game and get the uploads and the bonuses, you could get the blue Bud Light hat, or you get the red Budweiser hat, you know, and it has different.
Got to find 6 packs of Bud Light to power up.
There you
gotta...
go. Yeah, you get the one up and stuff, you know. Yeah, Breaker get the sunglasses and guns and stuff.
When I walked out to the lobby, I didn't recognize you because you didn't have the sunglasses on.
Yeah,
almost,
I thought you were gonna bring them.
I didn't know if I needed them. I didn't bring them.
It's all right.
all good.
I got something in the car though.
It's dark as hell outside.
about
It's
to say.
it's almost
It
winter.
look like it's midnight right now.
It's 5:48 and it looks like it's 10 o'clock at night outside. so-
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of people be saying, "Well, you trying to look like Rick Ross and Suge," and I said, "I'm trying to look like Isaac Hayes. That's who started that. Isaac Hayes
There you
started
go.
that.
There you go.
Keep telling them that.
You're talking about Chef from South Park.
Yep.
Oh man. Okay, so here's a question that I have, just because I'm going to be shooting my first short film next year. How did you go about like finding locations? A lot of it's, we've seen
The old shillelagh.
we've seen like old Shillelagh and the Grand Trunk. We've seen like different parts of Detroit, which is super awesome,
Yeah.
especially if you're from Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
You feel like you're at home when you're watching the show.
And that's the thing. I'm born and raised on the east side of Detroit. Been living in Detroit my whole life. So I basically kind of know where to go, off rip. But, as you drive around or catch the bus or commute, you see little things. And you're like, wow, that's a fucked up building. You know what? I'm going to shoot right there.
That's a fucked up building. I need to shoot here. I like that logic.
I love it.
But is there especially like for places like Old Shillelagh, is there do you just walk up and say, hey, can I shoot here? Or do you have to I don't know, do you have to find a permit? I don't know.
Well, like I said, I used to, I still do rap, but back in 2009 is when my first album came out, and the Detroit Pub downtown is where I would perform at, but I knew a lot of people who ran the other bars downtown too, so I would just call them up, or like you said, go down there and just ask, like, hey, I got to shoot a quick scene for a project, and they're like, oh, we don't care, go ahead, just put us in the credits,
Yeah,
and
right.
then at Grand Trunk, shout out to Beth Joy, she works there, a good friend of mine, and, she's actually in the beginning of episode 8, because it starts off with me in a bar crying. So she fixes me drinks and stuff. So you'll see her. But she got me in a Grand Trunk able to shoot and film down there. So
Beautiful.
just asking people, knowing people, being nice, or I
So
could
the
pop the
next time
claws
we
out
shoot
and say,
something-
hey, I'm shooting here, bub, right now.
Right.
So
So the next time we need to shoot something, we just call you up and be like, hey, can we get this place? Do you think you can pull some strings for us?
and I'll say, I'll be right back.
And luckily we have Dave here.
That
who,
too.
Yeah, Dave.
he networks with literally everybody in Detroit and,
There you
and
go.
the surrounding cities.
See,
So
so you connected.
yeah, it's a good thing that we became friends a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But like I said, even though I made the comment of, oh, that building's fucked up, let's shoot there, the reason why is because it's an already made background for you.
Right.
If you notice from episode 3 to 7, there was a haunted house we were shooting at, the Dark Legacy haunted house in Wixom, Novi area. And that's why those backgrounds were so great and good because it was already put together.
Like the scenes with the crazy looking mutants, is that the ones that were shot in the haunted house?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, they were. But
it looked good.
But
I love those scenes.
Shout out to Tracy. No, he's our special effects guy, and he's the guy that owns those crazy looking costumes. We can shoot those monster and creatures anywhere, but most of those scenes were in that haunted house.
Yeah, those masks like creeped me out super hard. There, and I think it's in episode 4 where there's that like really gruesome bloody scene.
Yeah.
There's like the guy hanging from the ceiling. It's like all skinned and bloody.
Yeah,
and then like
yeah,
there's
and then
like
the
the people
creatures
on the
eating
stretcher
and coming out.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, like that was very very intense. I was not expecting that.
Uh-huh.
I liked it though because again I write horror, so I was
yeah.
all
I was
about
gonna say,
that.
come on.
I was very impressed. Right?
Well, that's the thing about the son of Wolverine and Storm. You know, I love Resident Evil too, and I like certain creatures and stuff like that. So trying to incorporate that with the comic book world, you know, it's kind of something different because I love Thor Ragnarok. You know, Thor was great, but it's like even in the beginning of Thor when he was fighting that giant devil-looking guy, just that background and backdrop, everything was awesome about that. You know, so in my show, I figure, okay, I'm in a more urban, rural area. What could I do that'll bring it out a little more? And then when I seen that mask, I'm like, oh, these zombie, you know, flesh-eating creature things, you know, let's put that in there, you know, and add a different element to it. So not only are you fighting in the hood, you know, it's these creature things coming out
Do you just come
too.
up with the stuff off the top of your head? Like just, I know, like you make a script, correct?
Yeah. I mean,
He's like, no,
There's
no
no
script.
script.
I'm
He's
I'm
like,
not
yeah, there
gonna
is. He's
say-
like, no, there isn't.
No, maybe.
You just make it up.
I'm not gonna say
Improv.
that it's all improv. Some of it is structured, but a lot of it is kind of freestyling because, for example, we'll have one actor who's supposed to show up and all of a sudden they can't make it, but then he'll show up. So I'm like, okay, well, today we're not gonna do this. We're gonna go with this. You know, do you have any input? You got any ideas?
So it's basically like, this is where we got to get to. So like, hey, you know, today we got to focus on doing this scene here. So we need to start off doing this, and we just need to get to this place
Right.
here. It's
Exactly.
basically,
Like me
okay.
and Domino, we never met each other, but we did a phone scene.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
just made
There you go.
up something, and then she saw my video and just acted off that.
Yep. And then
That's
we
awesome.
sliced it and edited it to where it's like they knew each other, they've been in contact with each other, and the viewers would never know
They
that.
never met
you know?
each other.
Yeah, he's never met her. Like honestly,
Acting.
a lot of the
Yeah,
cast
right?
members have
That's
not
what they taught-
even met
they taught
each
us how to
other
improv.
because people are so like Iron Fist. He lives in Ohio. Agent 16, Rebecca, she's on like the other side of
She's
Michigan.
in New Buffalo,
New
Michigan.
Buffalo, like so she's like
man.
3-4 hours away. So a
Yeah.
lot of the cast members actually have not. I'm the only one that met everybody.
He met everybody.
But I mean, you know that. Hey, you starting from somewhere, so you got to do whatever it is you got to do to make it happen. Like you said, I see the vision, I see the story. We need to get to this point, but right now we're here. So somehow, some way, between the Hennessy bottle and the Bud Light bottle, we're gonna make it there, and it's gonna be awesome.
Tom, I feel like that's how most independent films are made. Hey, we got some alcohol and we're gonna film some stuff, and
people
we'll see what
definitely
happens.
Actually, the alcohol helps out.
It
Well,
does.
see, that's your loose.
does.
It makes
you
the
loose.
words
Show fuel.
come out
Yeah,
easier,
you know, I'm sure you noticed the bar and the kegerator
yeah.
out there. That's what
Oh,
we
yeah.
call show fuel. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm
Show
pretty
fuel.
sure.
I
I'm,
like that show.
I'm pretty
fuel.
sure that's how Rick and Morty were created. Like 100%.
Well, no, it's all ad libbed. It's beautiful.
I know.
That's the best
Like,
part of that
just
show.
alcohol. Let's go.
Yep.
Got you.
Well, and I think you get a more natural
Feel.
dialogue.
Yeah.
When you have people ad lib.
It doesn't feel forced.
We did a film, UFO, The Otis Files, and we basically ad libbed everything. There was a script, but we
Nobody
ad libbed
It could have
all
been
of
better. Love you, Trike.
We love you, Trike. But yeah, he's
Just
like,
because
what
I
you're
wasn't in it.
saying. He's like, what you're saying is funnier because it's natural.
It's
It
natural.
Yeah.
doesn't feel like because for some people it's easier to do that, and I
It
think
is.
that's what made
It doesn't
that
feel
movie
forced.
better.
You
Right.
mesh well. It's history. It's not history, but it's I can't.
Well, basically
right
that,
now-
that is the untold hidden secret of acting. You know, you have a script or you have something along the lines of what it is, like you said, getting a point A to point B. But when
Right.
you just say, you know what, just let me see what you got, and you just create off the top, and it works.
people will find that thing
Nothing's
inside
better
of
than
them that brings that character out and gets it to where it needs to be. I love it.
That's also how
Your
people get
narration in
typecasted.
episode 6, Breaking Out. Remember, we drunk a whole bunch of Hennessy.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
we
you
did
did the narration.
slow-mo
Yeah, yeah, with the red
I was
background.
feeling good off
He was
Hennessy when I was
he
talking.
gone.
You looked
He was
happy.
gone.
I was like, I need to be there.
I was just talking. I was just drinking Hennessy and talking. Whatever came to my head.
Hey, it worked.
I was
See,
gonna
this
say,
is
whatever
exactly
works.
why
Worked.
ad-libbing is such an amazing tool that people don't use very often. Not often enough, I should say.
True.
Yes. Okay, well, we're getting close to our time here. So
Okay.
if people want to find you, other than on YouTube, obviously they can look up all the shows on YouTube. But, like, where else can they find you on the
Twitter,
interwebs?
Twitter at the Solid X TV, Instagram Wolverine Solid X, Facebook Eddie Johnson. He could plug his, but real quick before he does, we wanted to give you guys this. We autographed 2 posters for you guys. Dave, I'll bring you one next time when I come.
We'll put it up on
get
the wall.
Copy.
Yeah.
So this is for you guys.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
very
You're
much.
welcome.
These are awesome.
And like I said, you got to start from somewhere, you know.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I know it's just a poster, you know, but
Hey.
No, hey,
It's a
it's
beginning.
Thank you very much.
No, we appreciate
But go
it.
ahead, man. Plug your Twitter and your Facebook and all your stuff.
All your stuff. Plug
The
it.
Breaker.
All your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not.
Oh, look up Reginald.
Oh my God. Reggie.
Ladies and
Look
gentlemen,
up
the
original person.
downside of ad-libbing.
Well, all I have right now is Reginald Person on Facebook. You can look me up on there.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
There
Easy
you go.
peasy.
There you go.
I love it. So we're looking at episode 8 coming out around February.
February, January.
Now,
Beautiful.
do you have like an entire story arc in your head? Like, do you
Yes.
have like, is there an end point?
Yes. Episode 10 probably be the end point, and then I'll see if most of the cast members still want to continue to do this, or if I can find a few more new people, we'll push it to 11 and to 20. But right now, 10 is kind of the cutoff, because we got some other projects we want to work
Yep,
on.
yep.
So
Awesome.
I'm thinking 10 will probably be it, but who knows? Who knows? You never know.
Cool.
That's true. the future is a place we haven't been yet. So,
Exactly. Wow, that's awesome.
well, thank you guys so much for coming on the
And
show.
thank you for having us.
We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. We love having people that are creators from Detroit. This is I was born and raised here. Megan was born and raised here. Well, in Detroit. We're right now at the Podcast Detroit studios in Real Oak, but I was talking about Detroit. And we love to support independent creators
Thank
from
you.
the city. And we just appreciate your time.
Thank
We
you.
know how important everybody's time is. We all
Thank
got
you.
shit to do.
We do.
Yep.
Ain't that the
Thank
truth?
you. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we're going to take a quick break, and then we will be back with our shit talking that we normally do in the beginning of the hour.
Blah, blah, blah.